isn't it? Is that I'm wearing this brown colour. They're not really keen on this sort of colour brown outside of a sort of safari get-up. That's not me. The reason I'm wearing this, and this very tatty coat I got on eBay, is actually surprisingly expensive. More than £25. Is that I've been making a programme about human population growth, and I wanted a sort of subliminal message that this is apocalyptic, it's torn, it's decaying, our planet's decaying. So I've worn these really gross brown colours, and we're going to treat the programme so it's all a bit visually ugly. So underlying all of the information that we've got in the programme will be a sort of sense of grubbiness and desperation. That's why I've got this coat on. When I'm making TV programmes, I think about it on every level. You know, that's the Asperger's, I suppose. However, I was speaking to a lady this morning, Sarah Harper. She's a researcher from Oxford. Worked in many places, highly thought of. And I was talking to her about two issues. One, how we deal with the ageing population that we have. Because people, she told me that the first person to live to 100 years was born in the late 1700s. But at that time, there were probably only about 100 of those people in Europe. Now we have thousands. And what we see is that more so, people have always lived a long time, and what we're seeing at the moment very obviously is a lot more people living a lot longer. And that will continue to happen because my generation, 1961, the baby boomers, there is this big boom. And so all of a sudden, all of us lot are becoming aged, and we are going to be moving into that bracket, which is going to mean there's going to be a death boom. So just thinking this afternoon, I'm going to buy a funeral parlour. Cash in on the world's population growth and the archives of that. And we were talking about that, and then she had also published a very disturbing piece of work looking at the evidence in sub-Saharan Africa for the reduction in fertility. Now, we know that in developed, let's call them Western countries, but it's becoming an old-fashioned term, but in developed countries, the birth rate has dropped considerably. We're left, therefore, with this ageing population that we have to service and look after. That's one of our issues. We also know that our consumption in those Western countries is far more than in many parts of the developing world. So, on average, you and I will produce 16 tons of CO2 as compared to, per year, as compared to Ethiopians who produce 0.01 tons. So there's a terrible disparity between who's consuming, who's doing the principal amount of damage. And you may argue, therefore, that if in our world, where the fertility rate, the number of children per fertile female is dropping, then that might balance out. But it's not actually going to balance out because we're consuming far more than is sustainable, even if there are less of us. But what we're interested in our film is looking at the population growth of sub-Saharan Africa, which is just enormous. I went to film in Nigeria. 40% of the population is under 14. In an area the size of California, you've got 200 million people. Honestly. I mean, it is just, well, frankly, it's just terrifying. It's a terrifying environment. There is no infrastructure to service that population. There isn't sufficient health care. There isn't sufficient education. But our hope, and one that's been proven to work, is that the only immediate way to get a handle on populations' difficulties, cross-cultural differences, political ramifications, and the fact that everyone is absolutely shit scared to talk about it, is that we educate women, we empower them, we bring them into the labour market. And whenever that happens anywhere in the world, the birth rate drops. And the UN have used the predictions for that increasing rate of education of women all over the world to generate their figure of 10 billion by 2050. We're at 7.4 or something at the moment, and the latest predictions now gone up to 11 billion by 2050, based upon the data. However, Sarah Harper, the lady I spoke to this morning in my tatty apocalyptic coat, has just done some more research, and she's shown that although the educated sub-Saharan woman is reducing the number of children, actively, consciously, sentiently, reducing the number of children that they want to have. It's not going down from the 9 to the 1 or 2 that it needs to be, it's going down to the 9 to the 3 or 4. So, because for some reason, in those sub-Saharan African cultures, they still want to have 3 or 4 children rather than 1 or 2, which is what women in our Western nations want. And when you extrapolate the difference, this means that the UN's estimate of population growth, 2050, 11 million, is wrong. It's going to be closer, if she's right, closer to 13 billion people on our planet. How can we sustain 13 billion people? Well, there's only one way we're going to make that work. We continue to do what we're doing. Obviously, I'm not saying that we should cease that goal for all sorts of ethical, moral, responsible reasons. We should continue to ensure that every woman on this planet has a right to a proper education and a fully fulfilled life. But the only thing we can do is we've just got to consume less. We can't carry on at the rate that we're doing at the moment. We can't, upgrade those phones, buy that next computer. We can't waste the third of the food that we buy from the shops that I don't know how much was wasted before it got there, and leave it on the side of our plate and tip it into landfill. We can't keep buying, I'll do my bit of old clothes. We can't keep buying new clothes. The rate of consumption and cost, it's not just about energy, it's about stuff. The trouble is, making stuff and selling stuff is what makes our modern world go round and round. It's that capitalist ethos. It's all about economic growth. We ain't going to get economic growth if people make stuff and buy stuff, trash stuff, go away and buy more stuff. The fundamental problem that we face at the moment is, aside from a biological one, is very clearly a political one. Can you imagine going into Harrods, standing outside saying, don't buy this stuff, just don't buy it? We're all guilty, aren't we, really? I've got to think about phones now. I refuse to upgrade my phone until it absolutely dies a death. Most people upgrade their phones in the UK every 18 months, is the average. And of course, when you get your phone, or if you buy it, you're not paying the real cost of it. You're not paying the environmental cost of your phone. There's stuff inside here, as you well know, that's being dug out of the ground under slavery conditions somewhere in West Africa. They're mining those precious metals, damaging the environment, poisoning the rivers, blah, 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 and they're running out anyway. The true cost of this is not, what's written on the box when you buy it. And that's just one thing. If we want to survive as a species with any degree of comfort, then we have to take a complete reappraisal about what makes us happy. New phones cannot make us happy. New cars, new clothes, all these things at the moment, we just go through these cycles of consumption in order to feel good, to feel that we're making personal progress. That's not making us happy. I can honestly tell you at the age of 68, standing naked from the waist up, looking at my spots and pondering about my tattoos, right, that none of the material objects that I own have made me as happy as the 2 dogs that sit in my lounge, as the walk through the woodland where I glimpse a sparrowhawk flying through those trees. It doesn't matter what you're into, whether you're into nature, anything, dance, art, music. Those are the things, when you think about it, honestly think about it, what are the things that have made you happy? Those personal moments, maybe it's part of a relationship you've had. We make each other, sometimes we make each other happy. I just think that we need a total change, a total mindset change as to what we want out of our lives. We want those lives to continue. Anyway, to conclude, I asked Sarah Harper if she was pessimistic or optimistic. And she said that she struggled not to be pessimistic, given the breakdown of governance that we've got here, the United States, Brazil, international and international, given the trend of that governance. At a critical point when we need to be making the right decisions, we've got people who are making very dramatic decisions. But she said, I do have some optimism, and it's an optimism. I was so pleased she said it, because it's something that I entirely agree with. Last April, I went to Oxford Street, where Extinction Rebellion had their pink boat. Now, I don't really like crowds of people. I don't really like them. I remember going to gigs to see the Clash, crowds of people there very obviously, and I remember a feeling of exaltation, of excitement, of almost importance of being in that atmosphere. I could sense that what was happening at that point in my life was going to have a profound effect on that life, and it was uplifting. And when I was there with Extinction Rebellion on the 4 times that I went to the boat in April, I felt the same way. And I haven't felt that way for, I remember, where being amongst a group of people who I didn't know made me feel not just good, but absolutely uplifted. And when I walked away on every occasion from the pink boat and the festival that was happening there, I just felt really good. I hadn't felt for ages. And then I went to one of the youth climate strikes. I felt even better. I felt even better because this wasn't me. This was young people who were sufficiently engaged, sufficiently intelligent, critically, sufficiently motivated to shout above the noise. My punk mantra, shout above the noise. Any hope will shout above that. And that's why I'm really pleased to be here today. Because you are that generation that represents a real hope for change. People who are aware, we've generated that awareness for you, we've passed that on, we'll take that. Of just how bad things are, why they're bad, and also our need to fix them, and indeed even how to fix them. The thing is, you've got no choice but do it. You've got to do it. The time for talking, the time for people running around by trust to be fox hunters, the time for governments to be employing the wrong people has got to come to an end. Otherwise, with all of your aspirations, all of your ability, all of your energy, all of your ambitions, you will fail like I have failed. If you want a secure, sustainable future, you can have it, but you're going to have to take it. You will have to take action. They're not listening. They didn't listen to us, and we didn't raise our voices. We were timid and meek and risk-averse, and we allowed these buffoons to sit in their jobs for too long. If you want to win, you're going to have to change the rules. You're going to have to get tough. John, a man who I have enormous respect for, he's a fantastic and really brilliant program and everything, talks about moderation. And I agree that moderation is always a compromise, it's always a good path. It can lead to creative discussions which produce positive conclusions. And not at a time, in some instances, where there's enough time for moderation any longer. We've done the talking, it didn't work. As John said, we've still got lead shot. They're still releasing 53 million birds into our environment, which are undoubtedly, we haven't proved it, we're asking for it to be proved now, are undoubtedly damaging that environment. They're still persecuting our hen harriers. I don't want to talk about, phasing out persecution. We didn't talk about phasing out slavery. No one said, do you know what, slavery's a bad idea. what we're going to do is phase it out over 100 years. I think we talk about phasing out homophobia. Well, we'll be relatively tolerant for a little while about racism, homophobia, sexism, and then we'll phase it out. We don't talk about that. We talk about ending it because it's wrong. Now it's time to talk about ending lead shot, 53 million peasants, persecution, our demand for consumption, our fossil fuels, fracking. There's no forget the talking. We've got the answers. We know the solutions. It's time for us to demand it. You have to shout up north. I'm not yet passing the baton. I will continue to fight to my last breath. But you represent the energy, the ambition, and ultimately my generation is becoming increasingly dependent upon them. I salute those, climate strikers, youth climate strikers, remarkable people. I salute you for your energy, your endeavour, your collectiveness, your intelligence, your coming together to share ideas, and grow a voice. Please use it. Thank you.
An incredible amount of time, so what I want to try and do is 2 quick questions. So I imagine there's some first 2 questions. So throw your hands up into the air. Someone. Yes, over there.
Sometimes the climate crisis and the ecological crisis can be reach a point of despair. What gives you hope and encourages you to keep campaigning for these things?
I think it's that toolkit. I guess the seals, it's Derek and Tim and all these other people that prove that we have the ability. And it's wider than that. We have the knowledge. I spent the morning with a population scientist who's offering some good data. They've been out, they've made measurements. At the moment, it's the best data that we've got. And if we were acting upon those sorts of things, then I think there's more than hope. There is a solution. So from my point of view, it pretty much always comes back to the science. I have a firm belief that we are remarkably resourceful, adaptable and intelligent organisms. And when in times of crisis we come up with solutions. Many of those solutions we already have in place. I just don't think we should wait for it to be an absolute crisis. That's what frustrates me. If you look at the history of our species, very often we have to trip up before we fix something. That does betray our intelligence. And at the moment, I think my only source of pessimism is that given the global state of politics, we will have to undergo some quite serious discomfort before we wake up and force those decision makers to start taking the right decisions, which they could be doing now in the vast majority of cases. I mean, I don't think that, if you ask me honestly, do I think that the young people here will be living in the same world as we're living in now when they're my age? The answer is a very, very emphatic no. There are going to be radical and difficult changes, but that doesn't mean that we can't adapt and we can't survive. And, if I'm being entirely selfish, I would say that I'm perhaps pleased that I'm not going to have to go through that. But at the same time, I'm just desperately embarrassed by it. We should never have put these people in a position where we're going to be dependent on them fixing our mess. It's shameful.
Any more? One more question. One more. Sorry. Yes, there, sir.
What do you think we need for all generations to take these people seriously and find their consent?
Repeat that. I've got sinusitis, my head's all blocked up. You're asking how old people will take young people seriously. Is that the general gist? Yeah. Look, you've just always got to argue from a firm foundation of fact. The minute you get involved in any emotional thing, you'll be undone. Always use the best information you've got to form the foundation of your argument. And if you get angry, we should all be angry. You have to learn how to make that anger into a creative thing. And I think that, let's just say Extinction Rebellion, as one thing. Extinction Rebellion, I think, will continue to work and grow, giving a voice to our disgruntlement when it comes to dealing with the climate crisis, as long as they are peaceful and imaginative and creative. And they start, if they started breaking things, if they started shouting, the wrong things, it would fall apart. We don't need to do that. As I've said from the outset, we have an enormous amount of data which proves we're right. Of course it gets frustrating. Look at the badger. We know we've been right about that the whole time. These idiots have been slaughtering, hundreds of thousands of badgers at an enormous cost to the public purse. And we know it's wrong. But we don't burn the House of Parliament down to solve that problem. We stick to our guns, we stick to the science, we stick to our arguments, because our arguments mean that we can't lose if we do that. You have to have that fortitude, and ultimately, in the end, people will respect you for that. We live in a world, of course, where they'll spin fake news about your thoughts and your objectives, as I well know. But you just got to be tough, bastard, just let that go over your head. That's just part and parcel of the modern process. It is just part of the process. So always make sure that you're telling the truth, and the truth is the best available truth we've got at that point in time. And then you really can't be found out.
Thank you. Please all give our round of applause. In the same vein of that inspirational tour, there's a few quick updates that I wanted to say. Just so you all know, we're running this event this evening with WWF, so thank you to WWF for supporting this event. And the theme of that event is change the system to save the ecosystem, which I think is something we're all sort of agree with. There'll be a choir, there'll also be the young wildlife photographers, so please do stick around for that event. But my word of warning to you is, if you leave the museum, it's going to be very difficult for you to get back in. So we have to stay in the museum, and there'll be a reception outside. But now, what I would like to do is sort of echo the words that Chris has been talking about for the last hour. I'm going to invite Matt to the stage to talk about a big photo that we want to get all you involved in. We'll stand around the Stegosaurus and while it's around the earth. There'll be one big photo. Matt, please.
I just need 60 seconds really. That was a fantastic call to arms from Chris. For the past year or so, young people around the UK and around the world have been going on strike on Fridays to draw attention to climate change. Some of them are in our midst this afternoon, and we've talked about how the climate change crisis and the nature crisis go hand in hand. So what we're going to do in a moment, as Elliot said, is we're going to take a first opportunity to show our solidarity with those young people who will be striking today. It's a state to your attention. It's a Friday today. And also solidarity with the hundreds of thousands of young people who will be striking in 2 weeks' time while world leaders meet in New York for the UN General Assembly. So we're going to take a group photo, and in addition to the 3 hashtags you've already been using today, hashtag Now for Nature, hashtag Conservation Optimism, and hashtag Youth for Our Planet, you can also add to this group photo, if you retweet it or you post it on Instagram, hashtag Fridays for Future, because this is not just about the climate change crisis, it's also about the crisis for our natural world and our biodiversity as well. So, Elliot will give you the precise locations and timings, but I just wanted to say that by way of introduction.
Thank you, Matt. So, we have a team of volunteers who are going to escort you past the refreshments. We don't want you that's nothing over before the photo, so we can get you all lined up. So the bus stall is over here, so if you all follow our way out towards the we'll be directed to where to go, and we'll try and make you